Someone gives that much of themselves that they will never be remembered. Their name will never be known. The reason why they're honored there is that they could be anyone else's relative. So people who have lost loved ones, when they go to the tomb, the mothers who lost many of their loved ones, or wives who lost many of their loved ones in World War I and II, and with their bodies were never recovered, can contemplate and think that maybe that's him. So they go there and they honor them, and the honor guard honors them. So it meant a lot more to me when I understand the price that we pay for these freedoms. And the bottom line of all these freedoms that we have is one thing that we have is the power to vote. The men who signed this Constitution gave up their lives, their treasure, and their honor to give us this Constitution. They established for us in our prosperity, in our posterity, the ability to vote in new government without having to have a revolution and a war like many other countries have. And we are able to send up representatives that come from the people, who represent a government of, by, and for the people. And you're looking at one who's seeking to be a representative to be your representative. And thinking a representative should know the people he represents and what their needs and aspirations are. And I do know this. I do know that you're well taken care of here. I do know that the staff here is dedicated. I do know that they're underpaid. I do know that they're overtaxed. And I do, am I right?
Yes.
Thank you. I didn't hear any objections in the courtroom. And I do know that what they do is they do out of a sense of dedication. Because you have to have a special sense of dedication to do this kind of work. And also I do know that the funds that sustain you here, from your Social Security and your other savings and what comes out of our taxes, they come not because we're doing you a favor. They come to you because we owe it to you. You don't owe it to us. We owe it to you. You are the ones who brought my generation up to where we are now. You are the ones who preserved this Constitution and the principles from me. And now it's up to me to preserve it for the next generation, but also to remember and care and keep the promise that was kept to you. And that promise that was made to you was a national promise. And it's a national disgrace if that promise is not kept. It's a national disgrace to find out that for any reason that you are denied any of your treatments, any of your medications, anything that is owed to you because it was paid for already by the fruit of your own labor and the labor of your husbands and wives who were before you. It's owed you. You do not owe us a thing. We owe it to you. And I am sure that I will bring this message to the United States Congress and remind them just to who we are to be thankful and just to who we work for. Because they need to be reminded that we don't work for them. They work for us. And so when I hear that some of your cost of living allowances may be cut, and that some of your Social Security might not be there, and that the staff here is not getting paid enough because they're being overtaxed. They're working 40 hours and end up getting paid for 20. That's wrong. And someone needs to do something about it. Now, if you want to know a little something about me and my profession, I'm not a politician. Politicians are these guys who keep running over and over again and stay there. They've never held a job in their life. They never created a job in their life. They never know what it was like to meet a payroll. Well, I'm the only guy in this race who's ever created a job because I'm a small business owner. I'm in the global security business. I'm a national security expert. I have a master's degree in diplomacy, in international conflict management. I have a bachelor's degree in international relations and counterterrorism. I worked as a bodyguard. I protected people around the world. I've lived in Saudi Arabia, in a Muslim kingdom. I've lived in Africa, in the middle of civil wars, in Angola, the Congo, and places there where they do not treat our elderly with the respect and the reverence that we treat them here. We need to understand that we live in the best country in the world, and that some of these politicians' behavior and conduct are irresponsible. And when we find out that they are spending more of our money than we make, then they need to be fired from their job. Because I know that in my business, and any business I ever worked for, if I went and worked for somebody, and the boss opens up the books and says, well, Mele, how many pizzas did you sell today? And I said, oh, I didn't sell any pizzas, but what I did was I ran up your credit card to $1 trillion in the hole. You're going to have to make up a whole lot of pizza to pay that money back. Oh, by the way, can I have a raise and a vacation? Right? That's what they're asking for. Congress gives themselves a raise while people out here are losing their jobs. It's the same thing. We need to send somebody to Congress who has a little common sense and says, let me see. I spoke with the folks over at Yonkers, and you know what they said? They said, Mr. Mele, you can't spend money you don't have. I couldn't do it when I balanced my checkbook when I was raising my family. I couldn't do it when I was trying to pay the mortgage of my home and pay the property taxes of my home and put my children through school. And you can't do it in the Congress either. What they are doing in the Congress is they are running up our debt so high and putting us in debt so low that we have to borrow money from other countries that are not quite our friends. We have to turn around and borrow $1 trillion from places like Communist China. Remember that place, Communist China? I don't know if you read a newspaper lately because you guys are here. China's still communist. China doesn't like us very much.